Have you ever gotten that text message or phone call saying that they need extra coaches for the upcoming sports season for your kid's team? If you have, and you raised your hand and said that you'd do it, but you had no idea where to get started, this podcast is for you. My name's Coach Derrick. This is Coach Vianney. We are the Volunteer Coach Academy, and our goal is to provide you with resources and conversation to spur your mind, get you thinking about the kids, and help your seasons and future seasons go nice and smoothly.
I'm Vianney, like Coach Derrick said, and we've been there. We know that navigating this process is no easy feat, and sometimes it feels like maybe you get guilt-tripped into it, but I promise that if you stick with it, you might find a lot of joy in it. Derrick and I both come from an athletic background. I particularly went into coaching collegiately, and then I found myself getting that same text message when my son's basketball program didn't have enough coaches for the number of kids that were signed up. Not particularly my most experienced sport, so I went into that season staying up till midnight trying to look up practices, trying to figure out the practice plans and the chaos of it all. So we've been there, and we want to help you navigate that process.
I definitely started with something really similar when my son Troy started playing Little League baseball. I knew that I wanted to help out to some degree. I had experience playing baseball as a kid when my father was one of the coaches, either an assistant or the team manager. So I had that experience to draw back on, but I didn't want to quite commit to the whole thing. So instead of hitting the head coach manager little checkbox there on the registration webpage, I clicked assistant coach. And then what do you know, a week before the season's supposed to start and practices are supposed to get going, I got the phone call saying, "Hey, can you be the head coach?" And I said, "No, I want to be the assistant." And they said, "You can do it. It won't take too much. We'll give you all the help that you need." And with a little pulling, I eventually agreed.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember just the chaos that we felt in our household because we didn't know where we were going to get enough time or where he was going to get enough time. But it all works itself out. And the point of what we want to help you prepare with is how do we make it a process that's comfortable for you and you can give the time that you're able to give and not feeling like you're overwhelmed by the amount of commitment it takes. So let's keep it simple. Let's talk about in season one, what matters most, right? A lot of it is going to depend on the age range, but for the most part, I would say that we agree that keeping it fun is super important, and not just keeping it fun for the kids, but keeping it fun for you as well. Focusing on the safety and structure is also going to keep things moving in a steady, progressive state. Can you elaborate on that structure portion and in that season one, why that matters so much?
Yeah, you were saying a lot of words there, and then the key one that resonated with me was structure. When I first got started, but my personality is someone who wants to absorb information and not necessarily make everything up myself from the get-go. So I bought a couple books and started reading and started thinking about how I wanted things to go. And that was super helpful, but the structure is really the key. And what you want to think about is clarity and stress. And the more clarity you can create around what you're going to do, the less stressful the season will be, not just for you, but for the kids and for their parents. So taking 20 minutes to create some type of outline and mission for how you want the season to go might save you hours on end of stress over the course of the next 3 to 4 months as you get going there. Think about what type of message you want to deliver to your players. Think about what you want them to say about you as a coach when the season's all said and done. And typically that will remove a lot of the stress that comes from thinking that you need to go out there and win, or you need to go out there and be the best coach. You don't need to be the best coach, you just need to be a great coach who is able to nurture these kids along at a level relevant to their age.
Yeah, so if I'm hearing you correctly, you're creating a plan, a vision for your season.
Yeah.
You're creating a structure of what you want your practices to look like. That way, from day to day, you can plug in based as your team's growing.
Yeah.
But something that I think is super key and often missed. There are parents and there are other people involved in your team that want to help. So when you create that vision and you create that structure and you present it to them and you say, hey, I'm gonna keep this simple for you. I need some volunteer assistance. Not just one, but getting 2, 3, 4 parents involved goes a really long way.
Definitely.
So I feel like when I have noticed the volunteers that you've had, they tend to buy in the most when you've created that structure and vision for them, making it simple for them to just basically invest into the vision.
Yeah. That kind of structure that you're talking about really starts before the first practice. Having some type of team meeting where you talk about your vision and your goals for the season. And that can be a 90-second conversation that kicks off the meeting, but you'll see parents buy in, and those that you can tell are bought in and they have that kindling to kind of want to help. Dive head first into that. Ask them for help. They may not have the confidence to get started, but if you provide them with the resources and the structure that they can rely on, that makes it seem really simple, then it's easy to get them involved. On that day one, recruit as many parents as you can to help. You might get 6, 7, 8 moms and dads say that they can help. And from there, it's a game of numbers. Maybe half to 3/4 of them follow through on the volunteer paperwork and the certifications they need to get done. And hopefully half of them are able to show up to 3/4 of the practices. And with 3 to 4 parents helping, I think you can run some really efficient practices that are simple. You can teach the parents simple things to teach the kids with simple cues to help those kids do the drills more effectively. You run with it, and it makes it easy for everyone. And when they see how easy it is to help, then their passion for it really grows as well.
Yeah. And I've noticed that in the times where you've communicated ahead of time to those parents, to those coaches, and you've presented that outline before practice, they can get an idea of what role they're going to be taking. And then it's not as nerve-wracking, because the reality is that many of us say no to the opportunity to coach because it makes us nervous. It makes us a little bit uncomfortable. So when you send out those practice plans the day before, it really sets the tone for them, and then they're more likely to make it happen and show up to practice and be like, this drill or this skill is being taught, I'm not super comfortable, I'm just gonna stay home today, type of thing. Would you agree that those practice plans ahead of time, that communication, it really helps them be at ease and know their role?
Yeah, you said nervous, and I think I still get nervous before practice. I feel nervous that things aren't gonna run on time. I feel nervous that I'm not gonna do what I said I was gonna do or act in the way that I promised I would act in. And you can always fall back on that good plan, that reliable plan. The practice runs very similarly from Monday to Wednesday, from week to week. You made a plan, that you have a pre-practice talk about what we're gonna work on and what type of attitude and effort the kids need to bring. They go through a warm-up that's the same every single day, so the kids are less stressed about the warm-up because there's familiarity there. Then you hop into your structured practice, whether that's full teamwork right away, or maybe you have drills planned that you're rotating small groups through. But knowing that you have a plan and knowing that there's a time structure for each piece of it, once you get in the flow of it, the time just takes care of itself, and you just follow the plan and blow the whistle when each mark hits so that you can transition to the next phase. So really, I think the lesson is the more clarity you can create around each day and around each week and each season, the less stressful it becomes. And the more you can take what you did in year one, learn from it, create small tweaks, but still stick to that same structure and replicate that from season to season, and it just goes smoother every single time.
Yeah. And just to circle back a little bit, Derrick talked about some of the things that make him nervous, and that tends to be the reason nerves and confusion and kind of discomfort might be what keeps you from saying yes to volunteering. Just to share a little bit about what makes me nervous, there are two main things that make me nervous when coaching. Number one is when the kids like really stop having fun, and you can tell in their body language and their attitude and what they're saying. That makes me uncomfortable. Like Derrick mentioned, the plans, having a plan of what you're going to do next, so that sometimes you have to on the fly make those adjustments. If a drill's not working, then you know you're either degressing it, or if a drill's they've mastered it, they're bored by it, you can progress it. But number two is the parents, right? Like we live in a culture where everybody has an opinion about what's happening on the field. You have a lot of parents that often sit and watch practices, and that can be really intimidating. That can be really nerve-wracking. And what I would say is, circling back to that vision part that you talked about with setting the tone in that team meeting. And sometimes you feel like you don't have enough time for a team meeting. If an in-person meeting is not something that's doable, do it over Zoom, or an email could work, but something a little bit more personable goes a long way. They respect that, they invest and buy in a little bit more, but tell them the expectations from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Hey, the beginning of the season, we're really diving into building skills and fundamentals and letting everybody try different positions. But as we near playoffs, especially as they get a little bit older, we're gonna reward the kids that show up and work hard, have positive attitudes, they're excelling at certain positions. We're gonna set the batting lineup in that order, or whatever, for whatever sport you might be playing. But give those expectations to the parents early, so that they really don't have a reason to complain about the little things, and you can be a little bit less stressed out about what's going on off the field with the parents, and they're gonna really know what to expect ahead of time. Anyways, so that kind of is a big portion of like how to get started, right? We know that there's things that are challenging, there's concerns, there's nerves, but with a good plan, a good vision, you can get started, and it can be convenient, it can be stress-free, and it can be fun. We will be releasing we have a few free resources that you can check out on our social media pages, but we will be releasing the Ultimate Volunteer Coach Guidebook in the next coming weeks. If that's something that sounds of interest to you, make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media. We'll be releasing the dates then, and we hope you check out some of our other videos to see if they're useful for you and your coaching journey.
See you soon.